Chapter 719, Bringing Down the Moose. It starts in one of our secret interrogation rooms. Jimmy was doing a special video confession. Jimmy, camera is recording him. Hello, EDS of the past. If you're watching this, then that means that my past self and the rest of the past kids already beat you up. And that means that right now, the past cankers are about to have their way with you. I can't tell you how sorry I am for framing you three. I guess revenge was clouding my judgment at the time. I know that at the moment, you three will never forgive me. But this recording will help clear your names. Why am I recording it? Because I looked back on our time at Peach Creek and realized that it's not Eddie's fault for all the scams he pulled. Now, clear's throat, erase everything I said up to this point. Give the following message to the past Sarah and the rest of the past kids. My name is Jimmy Devlin. Being of sound mind and body, I freely confess to the theft of the paintbrush, the wiping of Plank's mouth, and putting the hockey stick through the homemade heart on Friendship Day. All because of the wedgie that Eddie McGee gave me. We then see that Carmen was the one recording Jimmy. Jimmy, how was that, Carmen? Carmen, and's recording pretty good, Jimmy. Me? Okay. I can't believe that you got revenge on the Eds for a wedgie. Jimmy, yet. I don't know what I was thinking back then. Sarah, oh, it's all right, Jimmy. Me, well, this footage will show you that revenge only makes things worse. Later I went to the simulator. The simulator activated and I saw the kids throwing fruit and eggs at the Eds as they were taped to the fence. Me, hold it right there. The kids and Eds of the past saw me. Me, you've all been duped. You've all been used as pawns in a diabolical plan to ruin the Eds. Past Kevin, what diabolical plan? I saw Jimmy sweating and I grabbed him by his shirt and held him up. Me, this little twerp here used you all as pawns in a diabolical plot to get revenge on the EDS. Here's a video confession and this might convince you otherwise. I show everyone the video confession made by Jimmy. The kids were absolutely horrified and enraged. Naz, what? Jimmy did this? Jimmy, triumphantly tossing the booth away, yes. It was me. And I'd do it again. Eddie, why, you little rat, wait, why? Ed, but why Jimmy? Why implicate us? Jimmy, revenge takes no prisoners, double D. Kevin, revenge. Sarah, is this a joke? Cause Jimmy's too young to do revenge. Eddie, revenge? Just what the heck did we do? Me, tell them or else. Jimmy, you ruined a perfectly good pair of underpants, you big brute. Kevin, underpants. Johnny, realizing, oh, I get it. The wedgie. That was pretty funny, huh guys? The kids all snicker, except Sarah, who was glaring at them. Ed, oh, the wedgie. Ed, oh, yeah, that was funny. He giggles. Jimmy, stop it, stop it, stop it. I have never been so humiliated in all my life. He remembers what he did. Your mocking laughter, gouging at my fragile pride just like my undies. It was at that moment I formulated my revenge. When the coast was clear, I tippy-toed into action. It began with a missing paintbrush. I just waited for the others to take my bait. Sarah, in the memory, Ed. Cut back to reality. Naz, Jimmy took the paintbrush. Sarah, say it ain't so. Cut back into the memory. Jimmy, bingo. My fiendish plan was moving. With my next move, I would have to sacrifice my own shoulder stuffing. Desperate, yes, but ideal for smudging off Plank's mouth. Cut back to reality. Johnny, gasps. No way, Jose. Cut back into the memory. Jimmy is shown in his memory tucking the rag into Ed's back pocket. Smooth as silk. And let's not forget Eddie. Who else would sink so low as to pierce our heart of friendship? Cad. Cut back to reality. Kevin, No way. It was Jimmy who put the hockey stick up the heart. Cut back into the memory. Jimmy, ignoring the butterflies in my tummy, I needed to protect my innocence. So I chose a patsy to keep you losers off my trail. In enters Rolf, whose insatiable appetite for my jujubes fit snugly into my plans. Cut back to reality. Rolf gasps and drop his jujubes to the ground in shock. Cut back into the memory. Jimmy, feeling creative, I decided to tease and taunt you with false clues. Tidbits of information to tickle your nosy Parker ways. Artfully, I staged every diversion. Luring Johnny with an Isopid acorn was pure genius. Cut back to reality. Johnny, say what? Cut back into the memory. Jimmy, as he would have known to cement my freedom from sin. The jujubes remained a constant theme. But was I satisfied? I should say not. I prepared myself for the enlistment of some help. Happy to see me, the cankers greeted me with their usual tact of pounding the heck out of me. As I wheezed my proposal about you rotten EDS, a deal with Strug. Cut back to reality. Naz, Jimmy. Making a deal with the Kanker sisters. Cut back into the memory. Jimmy, I had goosebumps as I laid a trail of jujubes that would seal your fate. It was all I could do to contain the excitement in the air. Vengeance would be mine. So I pulled myself together for my final performance, and nailed your butts. Jimmy is seen in his memory standing behind the kids as they pound on the door. He is laughing his head off. Back in reality, Jimmy laughs his head off as well, while the kids stood there shocked and speechless. Kevin, unbelievable. Naz, I know, right? It was Jimmy this whole time. Rolf, son of a gun. Johnny, I can't believe it either, buddy. Sarah, quietly, Jimmy, how could you? Kevin, that twerp thinks he can get away with his little revenge. Hey? Well, not on my watch. As Jimmy continues laughing his head off, everyone was enraged. He screams when he sees Kevin glaring at him angrily with his hands crossed. So are Naz, Rolf, Johnny and even Sarah, who are also unpleased. Kevin, so, it was you this whole time. You and your revenge. Rolf, not only was Rolf given these sweet, delicious jujubes, but you dare use Rolf as a patsy. All over a little revenge. Jimmy nervously steps back as Rolf was boiling red in anger, making Rolf follow the Ed boys suspicious like. Never in all my life has Rolf's been used. And just for that, I hereby sentence you Jimmy, kicked out of the Urban Rangers. Jimmy, what? No. You can't do this to me, Rolf. Sarah, you get me, help me out of this. Sarah was standing the other way, sniffling. Sarah? Are you all right? He puts his hand on Sarah's shoulder. This causes Sarah to immediately turn around, who is more than angry at Jimmy. She's furious. Sarah, furiously, don't touch me, Jimmy. Her scream causes Jimmy to land flat on his face. Jimmy, WHWHWA. Sarah, furiously, you ruined Friendship Day. You ruined all our hard work. You used me. You used all of us. All for nothing. Nothing but revenge. And for what? A stupid wedgie. Jimmy was shocked and saddened that his best friend in the whole wide world would yell at him. He starts tearing up. Sarah falls to the ground sobbing. Naz, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Accusing the EDS for stuff they didn't do. Just for petty revenge over something so ridiculous. Jimmy, crying, I couldn't help myself. It was Eddie's fault. And the wedgie. Kevin, dude, it was just a wedgie. Why don't you just get over it instead of just acting like a big dumb baby? Naz, yeah, there was no need to go crazy like you did. Eddie, okay. Now that we've been proven innocent, can you untie us now? Naz, sure, dude. The kids untie the EDS. Naz, listen, we're sorry for accusing you and trying to beat you. Rolf apologizes too. Johnny, I'm sorry, too. Plank would say he's sorry also, but he can't talk. Ed, we forgive you. And Johnny, I think Plank's gonna want this. Ed reaches in his pocket and hand out a crayon. Johnny, gee, thanks Double D. Hear that, Plank? You're getting your mouth back. He draws a new mouth on Plank. He then listens to Plank. Plank says he apologized too, but he actually knew Jimmy was behind this the whole time. He would have said something earlier but his mouth was erased. Sarah, I hate to say this, but I'm sorry too. Ed, apology accepted, baby sister. Big hug. Ed hugs Sarah, who is constantly irritated. Sarah, okay Ed, will you please let go of me now? Ed gently puts Sarah down, thank you. And I'm sorry to you too, Double D. My friend. Will you ever forgive me? She hugs Ed, who is feeling uncomfortable, knowing she had a crush on her since and Ed too many. Ed, I forgive you too, Sarah. Kevin sighs, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I apologize too. I apologize for everything too. The EDS are shocked at what Kevin said, calling you dorks, beating you up, Eddie's Zit, his middle name and everything. Seems the only dork in this town is Fluffy. Why don't we put all of that aside and become friends? The EDS, especially Eddie, remained shocked and speechless at what Kevin said. Eddie, you really mean it? Kevin, sure, Eddie. Eddie, well, okay then Kevin. Guys, we're finally in. We're finally popular. Ed, after the day we've been through, everything works fine with us for once. It's a miracle. Ed, I'm in my happy place, guys. Kevin, turning to Jimmy, where were we? He cracks his knuckles to Jimmy, causing him to gulp in fear. You are so dead. Johnny, we're gonna give you such a pinch. Rolf, pulling his shirt sleeves off, showing his muckles, prepare as Rolf is going to give you the beating of your life. Naz, count me in. Sarah, yeah, me too. Jimmy, you too, Sarah. But you can't do this to me. We're best friends. Sarah, not anymore. Consider this friendship over. Eddie, I want a shot at this guy too. Me, you brought all this on yourself Jimmy. You are now the outcast of the cul-de-sac. The kids and Eddie all surround Jimmy getting ready to beat him. Lee, off screen. Stop right there. Everyone, hey. Lee, Marie, and May pop up and break the fence to come through. Everyone, except Jimmy, the Kanker sisters. Lee, so, our little deal was all part of a plan to get revenge on our boyfriends. Hey. Marie, then guess what? The deal is off. May, yeah, the deal is off. Lee, we heard everything this squirt said. Marie, and we're gonna return the favor. May, yeah. Let's return the favor. The kids and the Kankers all surround Jimmy, who is trembling in fear. Kevin, any last words before we pound you? Jimmy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. I only meant to hurt the EDS, not all of you. Me, sorry is not good enough. Kevin, yeah, well, you're gonna feel even more sorry when we get our hands on you. Lee, say your prayers, twerp. Jimmy, no, no, no. Have mercy. Please. Rolf, get him. Everyone, except Ed and Ed, mercilessly beat up Jimmy. He shrieks in pain and agony. Ed, this is a good fight. Hey, Double D. Later that day, Jimmy, who is completely bruised and broken and bloody from the beatdown, is hanging from the tree by his underwear. He comes sailing up and hits the tree branch. BLAM. Jimmy gets his biggest punishment in his life, which is exactly like Eddie's punishment from Brother, Can You Spare an Ed? Kevin, Nice one, Naz. Naz, that was fun. Kevin, I gotta hand it to you, I mean Eddie. This is the best scam yet. Ed, I must agree, cause this is the exact same punishment we did to you, Eddie. Eddie, don't remind me. Who's up next? Johnny, it's our turn. Hi, Plank. Jimmy, no, wait. Johnny jumps on the board, and Jimmy screams as he hits the tree. BLAM. Johnny, Plank says that serves you right for erasing his mouth and tying me up. Lee, it's our turn now. Marie, this is what you get for getting revenge on our boyfriends. The cankers all together jump on the board and Jimmy hits the tree again. BLAM. May, that was fun. Sarah, I'll take it from here. Now that we're no longer best friends, I'm gonna hit you so hard to the tree. Sarah walks back and charges to the board, as Jimmy hits the tree way harder. Krablom. Jimmy, dazed, I see stars. Me, I'll have a shot at him. I gave Ed a quarter and pound the board with my super strength and Jimmy hits the tree super hard. Krablom. Eddie, step right up, Rolfie boy. It only costs 1/4. Rolf, you must be pulling Rolf's leg. Rolf shall return. Rolf runs off, while Kevin gets a turn. Kevin, I'll just take your turn until you come back. Kevin jumps on the board, and hits Jimmy to the tree again. Krablom. Eddie laughs. Eddie, this is what you get, stupid Jimmy. The ultimate punishment. My greatest plan ever. Me, karma's a bitch Jimmy. Ed, standing on 4s, and I've got a jar on my buttocks. Rolf returns with a giant bag of quarters and drops it on Ed. Crash. Rolf would like these many goes at pale Jimmy. Me, wow. That's a lot of quarters. Jimmy, are you serious? Ed, cool. Deja vu. Jimmy, wait. I think I had enough punishment for now. Rolf, stand back, as Rolf has eaten Mama's pickled cabbage. He raises the hammer and brings it down on the target. Jimmy, oh no. He screams and hits the tree with powerful force. Krablium. We merged everyone but the cankers and the little Jimmy with their counterparts. The little Jimmy was getting the worst ever beating of his miserable life as he was getting mercilessly slammed all over the place. Marie KL, this is what you get for revenge you little twerp. The plank hits little Jimmy and he slams into the tree. Krablom. Me, our punishment system really works. Luan, it sure does JD. Kevin, you know what? All of us in the cul-de-sac could have been united like we were in that simulation. But Marie's former sisters had to fuck everything up. Lainey, yet. Marie's former sisters were a couple of sadistic stalker bullies. Me, hey Eddie, what was one of your most hilarious adventures? Eddie, oh gosh. That's a tough question. But I would have to say the Mucky Boys incident. Me, the Mucky Boys incident? Eddie, yet. I made up this silly story about 3 boys that turned feral. They were called the Mucky Boys and they were dumped off by a tornado in the construction site in Peach Creek and raised by field mice. They threw armchairs into windows. We tried to make the story real by covering ourselves in mud. But Sarah saw right through our story. Sarah, yet I was too smart for them. Me, it was a good try though Eddie. Luan, that one sure mucked. Laughs, get it? We all laughed at Luan's joke. Me, laughs, that was a good one Luan. That was a good one. We turned and we saw 3 people coming. But they were aliens. One was a Tetraham, the second was a Kinoceleron and the other was a boy that wore a white shirt and brown shorts and he had the Omnitrix symbol on his chest. Ben, Helen, Manny, Alan. Good to see you guys. Manny, gives Ben a Nuji, nice to see you too, man. Helen, we haven't seen you for a very long time. Alan, we also heard that you have an adopted sister now. Ben, I sure do. Oh guys. These are friends of ours. They are plumber kids. Me, it's a pleasure to meet you too. Manny, same here JD. We heard so much about you. I'm Manny Armstrong and I'm half human, half tetrahymand. Helen, I'm Helen Wheels and I'm half human, half Kinoceleron. Alan, I'm Alan Albright and I'm half human, half Pyro Knight. Me, it's a pleasure to meet you all. Ben told us a lot about the plumber's helpers. Helen, I had a feeling he did. Kyan, it's a pleasure to meet you guys. My name is Kyan and I'm half human, half Necrophrygian. Manny, pleasure to meet you Kyan. Me, Kyan was spliced with Necrophrygian DNA by scientists down in Antarctica. Alan, that is seriously playing with fire. Metaphorically speaking of course. Kyan, I know. Messing around with nature is really dangerous and it can have horrible consequences. Me, that's right. Cyborg, to many I noticed that me and you sound alike. Helen, I noticed that too. And you two are a bit similar in personality. Manny, too bad my robot hand can't turn into a blaster as well. Me, maybe Lisa can help you out with that Manny. Lisa, I most certainly can. Manny, thanks Lisa. Leslie came. Leslie, it's a pleasure to meet more friends of my brother. I'm Leslie Jesneria Tennyson, Ben's adopted sister. Manny, pleasure to meet you too Leslie. Helen, it's great that Ben took you in as his sister. Leslie, thanks Helen. We're happy to be a family. Ben, we also had another plumber kid friend named Pierce. I'm sorry if telling about him is too painful for you Helen. Helen, it's all right Ben. Me, what happened to Pierce? Manny, he was murdered in cold blood by the Forever Knights. We gasped in sheer horror. Lori, the Forever Knights literally killed him? Me, I've heard about the Forever Knights. Ben told us a lot about them. Livewire, what are these Forever Knights? Me, they are an evil organization of fanatical extremists. The Forever Knights, first created by Sir George, are an organization of knights frequently fought by Ben and the gang on many occasions. They were first introduced in the original series episode A Small Problem, and played a major role in Ben 10 vs the -10. They then became recurring antagonists in the 2 sequel series. Initially, the Forever Knights were dedicated to collect and study alien technology, usually in illegal ways. Any aliens they captured along the way are dissected and studied. Any humans caught with them, like Howl, are immediately deemed worthless and disposed of. The Forever Knights use castles as their headquarters and function according to medieval institutions, with a Forever King as their leader. However, in Alien Force and Ultimate Alien, it is revealed there are actually several pretendants to the throne, causing the organization to be divided in splintered factionalized groups with each on their own motivations until Sir George reunited them. The Forever Knights first appear in A Small Problem. They are first known as the Organization, according to the enhanced version of the Ultimate Weapon. This is one of their code names they use to prevent linking them to their crimes. They attempt to dissect gray matter, which was caught by Howl, who thought that the Forever Knights would make him and his discovery famous, but are thwarted. Their base is also destroyed, along with the alien technology stored inside. The Forever Knights returned in Ultimate Weapon, in which their formal name is used. In Perfect Day, the Forever Knights returned attempting to steal the Omnitrix while trapping Ben in a dream world, using some sort of dream-inducing device. While Ben was in the dream world being monitored by Enoch, the other Forever Knights present were using their technology to remove the Omnitrix. They were stopped by Gwen and Grandpa Max. They hacked into the dream Ben was in to free him, and XLR8 later trapping Enoch in a fantasy world where he succeeded in claiming the Omnitrix. The rest of the Forever Knights return in Ben 10 vs the -10 to help their leader, the so-called Forever King, Driscoll, and a robotic minion called the Red Knight, who sought to obtain the sub-energy, the world's strongest energy source that was located inside of the Plumbers Complex in MT Rushmore, where they also team up with 8 more treacherous villains in order to fight Ben and defeat him. As said above, it was revealed by Dwayne McDuffie that the Forever Knights in the original series were a splinter group by Driscoll that had different goals from the main group. The main Forever Knights appear in Ben 10, Alien Force. This group are allied with the Hybrid and the DN aliens, although they are unaware of, or unconcerned by, their true intentions. The main Forever Knights dress in full plate armor similar to that of a medieval knight, with an infinity symbol on the abdomen, symbolizing the Forever in their name, as opposed to the less medieval style armor the Splinter group wore previously. In Benighted, it is revealed that they had kept a dragon-like alien mapmaker imprisoned for 1,000 years and had broken its universal translators so that it could not verbally communicate. After it escaped into space with the help of Ben, the Forever Knights will be ready if more of them come. Notably, the true Forever King is Patrick. The Forever Knights also returned to the Ben 10, Ultimate Alien series in the episode Duped. They were led by King Urian, who hunted for Toltec battle armor. The Forever Knights reappear in Andreas' Vault, where Argit uses Andreas to destroy Forever Knights' castles so he can take control of their organization, but was stopped by Sir Dagonet. In Reflected Glory, the Forever Knights tried to take an energy decoupler from an alien robot, but they were once again defeated by Ben and his team. In Eye of the Beholder, the Forever Knights attack the team in the open street with high-tech horse-like vehicles. They were all trashed by the team. In The Creature from Beyond, it is shown that Sir Cyrus is from a faction of the Forever Knights that follows the true path from the ones led by Patrick, Urian, and Driscoll, as his faction follows the ways of the First Knight. In The Purge, it is revealed that the First Knight is really Old George, who ends up having the Forever Knight factions reunited into one organization. In A Night to Remember, Ben and his team went to the Forever Knights hideout to tell them that Winston is a part of the Flame Keeper's circle. Driscoll tells them about Diagon and how Sir George defeated it, after Ben demands answers. He also tells about a shrine where Diagon's heart is located. They find the shrine after Gwen deciphers the clues left by George, but the Forever Knights betray Ben and his team. After arriving, the Forever Knights find George at the entrance of the shrine and enter it. The FKC appears and fights the Forever Knights, while Vilgax absorbs the power of Ascalon and Diagon's heart, giving him unlimited power, but he senses there is more. He defeats all of the FKC and the Forever Knights, after Conduit Edwards realizes the FKC has been tricked. Winston then appears, who is under Diagon's control, and says to Vilgax that, to gain even more power he must break the seal that holds the Lucubra. Vilgax finally gets tricked after breaking the seal and is sucked into Diagon's dimension, while Sir George regains Ascalon and his youth. In Solitary Alignment, Ben and his team infiltrate Area 51 to find George. In The Beginning of the End, the Forever Knights fought against the Esoterica as well as Ben and the gang, as they did not believe that he was serving as an ally to Sir George. A group of Forever Knights followed Sir George and Winston into the cave where the seal of Diagon's dimension was kept. Following Winston's death, the Forever Knights insisted that they fight Vilgax, Diagon's new pawn, on behalf of Sir George, stating that he would need his strength to fight Diagon. Although the Forever Knights were able to fend off Vilgax's initial attacks, they were eventually overpowered and severely wounded. Ben passed these wounded Forever Knights on his way to assist Sir George. In The Ultimate Enemy, as Sir George allied himself with the gang, the Forever Knights later joined Ben in attempting to take down Diagon by continuing to fight in the war against the FKC. Some of the Forever Knights, specifically the unhelmeted ones, were converted into esotericas but later became normal. According to Derek J. Wyatt, the Forever Knights were all wiped out in the war against the esoterica. In Return to Forever, the Forever Knights were reduced to only a small fraction of their initial strength. Joseph Chadwick became the leader of a remnant of the Forever Knights, and Sir Mordant has also been revealed to still be alive. Chadwick attempted to use the hybrid pulse generator in a combination with the DNA scanner to help destroy all of the aliens on Earth, leaving humanity dominant. However, Chadwick and the Forever Knights' plan was foiled by Ben, Rook, and Jimmy. the Forever Knights are really bad news. But I heard that most of them were all wiped out during a battle Ben and everyone went through involving the malevolent monster Dagon. Ben, yeah, that was a terrible battle. Me, Dagon is also the malevolent monster from H.P. Lovecraft's Necronomicon. Dagon is the founder of two modern-day religious cults known as the Flame Keeper's Circle and the Esoterica, who believed that he had visited Earth many years ago and gave humans advanced technology. He is believed to have sworn to come back to Earth and bring the Golden Age. He said he will bring alien tech so Earth would have no war, no disease, just peace. Vilgax was mistaken for and later pretended to be Dagon in the Flame Keeper's Circle. In fact, Dagon is an extra-dimensional demonic entity who is at least 1,700 years old and have tried to invade this dimension with help from many Lucubras during Earth's medieval era. He was banished back to his dimension when Sir George defeated him by cutting out his heart with Ascalon, a powerful weapon given to him by Azimuth centuries ago. In the Flame Keeper's Circle, Dagon was first introduced and his appearance was revealed in a craving at the headquarters. In A Night to Remember, Dagon took control both of Gwen and Winston. In solitary alignment, his shadow was seen in a flashback. Dagon's voice was heard in The Enemy of My Frenemy, being called by the name Old One, a being who can bring dead people back to life. Charmcaster gave him 600,000 souls, from every living thing in Ledger Domain except herself, and in return, asked to bring her father back to life. Spellbinder disapproves her attitude, saying that his daughter became a worse tyrant than Adwaita ever was. Spellbinder says that he can't stay in Ledger Domain knowing that his life was bought by the cost of so many others and decides to leave again. Charmcaster says no, but Spellbinder returns to the dead and the Dagon makes all souls return to their bodies, saying that such is the way of magic. In the beginning of the end, his voice was heard again when Sir George demanded to face him. Instead he summoned Vilgax, his herald. In The Ultimate Enemy, Part 1, the seal was finally broken, allowing Dagon to return to Earth's dimension from his own home dimension. In The Ultimate Enemy, Part 2, Dagon fights against Ultimate Way Big and defeats him with Acid Rain. Later Dagon is absorbed by Vilgax. At the end of the episode, Ben used Ascalon to defeat Vilgax and in consequence absorbed Dagon. His power transformed into the form of a star because of Azimuth. Me, Dagon was that powerful. Leslie, when I get my hands on the Forever Knights that are still alive, I'm gonna chomp their helmets with their heads still inside. Me, save seconds for us Leslie. The Forever Knights are now on Team Loud Phoenix Storm's hit list. If any are still alive, that is. Ben, they are. But there are not very many of them left. Me, well, we will make sure that they pay for their crimes. See something? Wait. Something is coming to us. We saw two figures coming toward us very erratically. They were wobbling all over the place. The shadows faded and it was a little anthropomorphic monkey boy wearing a camper uniform and his clothes were torn up and shredded. The second figure was an anthropomorphic slug. Me, oh man. We went over to them and they collapsed and me and Celica caught them. Me, are you alright? They were hurt bad. Me, let's get them to the infirmary. We did so. In the infirmary they both woke up and they saw us. Me, are you alright? Laszlo, wow. Team Loud Phoenix Storm, it's an honor to meet you all. I'm Laszlo and I'm a Bean Scout from Camp Kidney. Mr. Slinkman, and I'm Slinkman. It's truly an honor to meet you all. Me, it's a pleasure to meet you both. What happened to you? Laszlo, we escaped Camp Kidney to come find you. Lumpus has returned to get revenge on our camp and Scoutmaster for throwing him in the nut house. We gasped in sheer horror. Me, Algonquin C. Lumpus, the deranged fraudulent Scoutmaster responsible for causing all kinds of crimes all over Prickly Pines? Laszlo, that's him. He has these strange robots with him and they were taking everyone hostage. Flashback. Laszlo, narrating. Lumpus appeared out of nowhere and he and those robots were capturing everyone. Me, Edward and Mr. Slinkman were trying to get away. Edward, Laszlo, and Slinkman were about to head out of Camp Kidney when Lumpus Techodon robots found them. Edward, as much as I hate to admit it, if we're gonna win this one of us might have to lose it. Slinkman, you can't be serious. Edward, I am serious. You two go find Team Loud Phoenix Storm. I'll buy you guys some time. To Laszlo, for what it's worth, you've been a really good friend, Laszlo. Laszlo, trying not to cry. Thanks, Edward. Laszlo and Mr. Slinkman managed to successfully get away. Flashback ends. Laszlo, we got a way to find you guys. Lincoln, that is terrible. Nico, I heard that Lumpus was a jerk before. But this takes it to a whole new level. Laney, he's not a moose, he's a monster. Me, Prickly Pines is located in the middle of the forests of Northport, Wisconsin. 300 miles from here. Nico, I know. Ben, to Slinkman you remind me of Waylon Smithers. Except you're proving to be trustworthy right away. Slinkman, I guess I do have that kind of style. Thanks Ben. Alan, the Techodon robots are with him. Manny, I wonder how he got robots like those. Me, that's a good question. But we better get over there and stop him. Team Loud Phoenix Storm, let's fly. We were off to Prickly Pines, Wisconsin. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Prickly Pines, Wisconsin. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. We were outside the entrance of Camp Kidney in Prickly Pines, Wisconsin. We saw a lot of Techodon robots guarding the entrance. Alan, how are we gonna get inside? There must be at least a dozen Techodons guarding the entrance. Me, it's easy. We're gonna blast our way in. Let's go. We charged in and we saw Algonquin see Lumpus. Lumpus, so you've come to face me, Knudsen? Me, that's right, and I'm going to destroy you. Lumpus, you and what army, Knudsen? Me and this army. Massive explosions blew apart the robots. Ben turned into amphibian. Ben, amphibian. Amphibian fired a powerful blast of lightning at them and they exploded. Kraboom. Amphibian electrocutes a Techodon. I almost missed fighting these things. Alan fired a massive blast of fire from his hands and it hit them and exploded. Kaboom. Kaboom. Alan, me too Ben. Manny used his powerful super strength and smashed them to rubble. Manny, this is awesome. Rex formed a sword out of his hand with his EVO powers and slashed numerous Techodon robots to pieces. Rex, this is awesome. But then we saw a huge fat ninja coming toward us. It was Tubimura. Tubimura defeats Raimundo in a fight and then brings the Sword of the Storm back to Jack and Wea and joins the side of evil. Later, although he impresses Jack with his evil taunting toward Raimundo during a Shenyi Bullet and Dare and further impresses him with his evil laughter, which is also directed at his rival, Tubimura is ultimately defeated and loses 3 Shen Gong Wu. Tubimura participated in the Royal Rumble and defeated Clay Bailey in a Xylan showdown for the Tongue of Siping, also kidnapping him as a price for losing. Later, he joined Jack when Jack was desperate for a partner, but they broke up because of tensions between them. After that, Tubimura joins part of Jack's new army of evil and then goes to the side of Chase Young, only to be shot out of a catapult. He also owns a chihuahua named Muffin Face that he has Jack Spicer walk as a method of payment for his services in something germane. Me, who is that ugly guy? Omi, Tibetan accent, that is Tubimura and he's one of the Halen. Me, and he's a ninja. More like a loser ninja. He needs to go on a serious diet. Raimundo, he's also my arch nemesis. Tubimura, Japanese accent, Raimundo, you are a disgrace to the world of the ninja and I shall destroy you with full honor. Raimundo, you make me sick just looking at you. Tubimura. He unsheathed his signature Shen Gong Wu, the Sword of Lucida, and he slashed at Tubimura relentlessly. Tubimura, avoid Raimundo's slash. You and your friends have changed, Raimundo. Before, You kept a cool head when you first fought me. But now, your emotions of you and your friends are clouding your judgments and causing you all to rush in and attack me blindly. Me, your judgment is the one that's clouded you overgrown tub of lard. We challenge you to a Xylan showdown. For honor and sheer disgraceful defeat, and we get all your Shen Gong Wu. Tubimura, I accept your challenge. And if I win, you give me all your Shen Gong Wu. Raymundo, let's go. Xylan showdown. The stage turned into the eye of a massive hurricane and the clouds were spinning rapidly at a ferocious pace. The arena was a cloud arena. Me, Raymundo, Rex and Tubimura, Gong Yi Tan Pai. I punched Tubimura in the face and kicked him in his oversized stomach and made him belch out a tremendous amount of blood. Raymundo slashed Tubimura with his sword of Lucida. Rex punched Tubimura in the face with his smack hands and punched him all over the place with his fun chucks built by the Omega Nanite. Tubimura, weakly chuckles, at least you have not forgotten the rules of a Xylan showdown, Raymundo. Raymundo, can't say the same for your other two comrades. Gigi and Kumo are both dead. Me, and you will be spared and put on a diet when we're through with you. Sword of the Hoshiryu. I swung my sword of the Hoshiryu and it fired a massive blast of solar plasma and it slammed into Tubimura and exploded with the power of a nuclear blast. The challenge was over and Tubimura was beaten. We got his Shen Gong Wu, the 2-ton tunic, Mind Reader Conch, Mikado arms, the lunar locket and the golden tiger claws. I took the lunar locket, golden tiger claws, and Mind Reader Conch, and Raymundo took the 2-ton tunic and Mikado arms. Me, thanks for the Shen Gong Wu, lardass. Now to send you to prison for all eternity and put you on a diet. Ready, right? Raymundo, you know it, dude. Nico, Tubimura, you have failed this world. Me, he sure has. Rex Salazar slashed him in the gut with his sword. We stood ready. Me, Starstorm Comet Shower, stars. I fired a massive shower of comets and stars from my hands. Raymundo, Hurricane Cyclone Spinner, wind. Raymundo fired a tornado of hypersonic fast wind. Rex used his slam cannon and Nico loaded a super dense steel ball into it. Me, Rex and Raymundo, Star Tornado Catapulture. Rex fired the steel ball like a cannon and the ball, stars, and tornadoes slammed into Tubimura and sent him flying into space faster than a bullet fired from a gun right towards the moon. Stan Lee was working in the kitchen serving up food for the prisoners when suddenly Tubimura crashed through the ceiling and onto a prisoner. Prisoner, ow. Tubimura, I am defeated. Stan Lee, those kids on Team Loud Phoenix Storm continue to bring in all kinds of bad people. Tubimura was sentenced to 200 life sentences without parole and he was sentenced to eternity on a diet to get rid of his ugly gut. Me, that was awesome. Raymundo, it sure was, JD. You taught us all well. Me, I'm glad. Rex, who? That was awesome. Me, we're not done yet. Let's get rid of Lumpus. Raymundo, right. Rex, let's do it. Everyone else was facing Lumpus. He was an anthropomorphic moose and he had a nasty disposition. He was laughing like a homicidal psychopathic monster. Maria, to Lumpus, don't bother calling Tubimura for help. Rex and Raymundo are keeping him occupied. Me, we just finished with him and sent his overgrown lardy ass off to prison forever. You are dead meat, Lumpus. Nico, Algonquin C. Lumpus, you have failed Camp Kidney. Me, more like he has failed all of the camps around the country. Let's waste this dick. I punched him in the face and put a nasty jellyfish on his head and it electrocuted him with 600,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 volts of electricity. Zaap. Helen zoomed around Lumpus at 1,000 miles per hour and punched him all over the place at a ferocious level. Manny punched Lumpus in the face and knocked out all of his teeth. Alan fired a massive blast of fire at Lumpus and burned him bad. Kimiko kicked him in the face and knocked out his teeth. Nico, let's see how you like this. Fist of Tbigong. Nico punched Lumpus in the stomach with devastating force and he belched out a tremendous amount of blood. Slinkman starts to choke Lumpus after everything we have been through, after all the times you were strict to me, after the years I stood by you. You do something like this. Lumpus pries Slinkman's hands off him. You wouldn't understand. Slinkman, now pissed not understand, wrestles Lumpus to the ground and punches Lumpus repeatedly. You stupid, antler-headed traitor. Lumpus punches Slinkman off him. I have to be in control. Sloan Kamen, outraged in. Control? That's what this is all about? Control. Rushes at Lumpus. Slinkman punched him in the face and knocked out most of his teeth. I formed my scythe from serif of the end and the blade glowed with fire as I spun it around and I swung the blade and it slashed off Lumpus' antlers. Me, it's combo time. Freeway, right. Get ready you fucking bastard. Cyber key power. The Earth cyber planet key was inserted into his blaster and enhanced his sonic landmines and weapons 200-fold and he can now fire a sonic blaster that can shatter glass. Static, let's do it. Giganteon cyber key power. The Giganteon cyber planet key went into his device and it enhanced his lightning powers to use 100,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 volts of electricity. Freeway and static, hypersonic lightning disintegrator. Freeway fired a massive blast of sonic energy from his blaster and Static fired a massive blast of powerful lightning and the blasts combined and they hit Lumpus and he screamed in excruciating pain. Trigger happy, time for action. Cyber key power. The Earth cyber planet key went into his blaster and it enhanced his photon pulse guns to fire 1 million rounds per second and his speed was enhanced to 100,000 miles per hour. Live wire, let's get him. Giganteon cyber key power. The Giganteon cyber planet key was inserted into her device and it did the same thing as static. Trigger happy and live wire. Photon lightning electrocution. Trigger happy fired his photon pulse guns and Livewire fired a massive blast of lightning and they combined and electrocuted Lumpus badly. Me, it's final smash time. Rex, I'll start us off. Slam cannon laser storm. Rex fired his slam cannon. But instead of rocks, he fired a powerful laser blast that hit Lumpus and it exploded. Crab boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-um. Laszlo, my turn. Banana bomb death storm. Laszlo threw numerous banana bombs and they hit Lumpus and exploded all over the place. Boom. 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 Boom boom boom. Me, let's finish this clod off for good guys. I have a perfect form of death for him. Commander Hoo-Ha appeared. Hoo-Ha, Lumpus, you are the worst and most pathetic scoutmaster ever. You're fired. We built a rocket sled and a huge ramp and a big billboard that said Lumpus stinks on it. But behind the billboard was lots of high explosives doused in highly flammable rocket fuel. We put Lumpus into the rocket sled. Lumpus, you motherfucking bastards. Drop dead. Me, drop dead yourself, motherfucker. I turned on the chair and it went down the ramp fast and jumped and went towards the billboard. It slammed through it and it exploded with incredible power into a massive fiery explosion. Crab The billboard was now a massive fireball. Me, imitating Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, that hit the spot. Lumpus was dead. Me, he'll make great moose chili. Then the anti-tooth fairy arrived. She was the exact opposite of the tooth fairy. Anti-tooth fairy looks nearly identical to the real tooth fairy, except with a dark blue color scheme and red eyes. While the tooth fairy takes people's lost teeth and gives them money, anti-tooth fairy gives people teeth and steals money. Me, the anti-tooth fairy. Anti-tooth fairy, British accent, hello you freaks. Me, you are a dead tooth fairy. I activated my anti-fairy destroyer gauntlet and slashed her and killed the anti-tooth fairy. Me, one less anti-fairy. Hoo-ha, while I am glad that Lumpus is dead, Camp Kidney needs a new scoutmaster. Slinkman, I can volunteer, sir. Hoo-ha, all right. Slinkman, you are now the new scoutmaster of Camp Kidney. Nico, you know, hoo-ha. Some people think that you're mean and scary. But we think that on the inside, you're a pretty nice guy. Hoo-ha, oh thanks Nico. I appreciate that. Me, let's walk around the camp and see what happened around here. I can tell that when Lumpus was in charge, this place was turned into a dump. Very, okay. Celica, I hope everyone is okay. In one of the cabins we saw all the campers tied up. We got to work and cut them free. Me, are you all okay? Raj, India accent, I think so. But that was awesome how you stopped Lumpus. Laszlo, it was so cool how Team Loud Phoenix Storm stopped Lumpus and Tubimura. It was awesome. Clam, awesome. Samson, it sure was. We saw Edward and he was in really bad shape. Static, sees Edward's beaten up condition. Oh, man. What did that stupid moose do to you? Edward, smiles weakly. Don't worry. I've been through worse. Very, I'll heal you up Edward. Laszlo, to the viewers, camping is an awesome adventure for everyone and it can be an awesome experience for everyone. But you should never hire a stupid and mentally unstable scoutmaster to be your leader. Me, amen to that Laszlo. We walked around Camp Kidney and we saw that the living and working conditions were absolutely terrible. Chef McMoosley serves terrible food that can cause botulism. I told him to start serving food that kids like to eat and not organic food that can cause stomach cancer. He started serving hot dogs, pizza, burgers, anything that kids love and not organic food that is gross. We also brought the Squirrel Scout Camp, Acorn Flats together with Camp Kidney and merged the camps together. Slinkman, alright. I know you've had problems with us in the past. But that was when Lumpus was in charge. Now that he's dead, all tensions between our two camps is over. If anyone has a problem with this, please speak your mind. Jane Doe, we accept Mr. Slinkman. The camps were merged. We called them Camp Squirrel Bean. It was the best I could come up with. We found out that it was because of Ms. Mucus that lead the Squirrel Scouts to hate the Bean Scouts. It was disgusting. We also gave them new activities like zip lining and any kind of activity you can think of. Ms. Mucus was sent to a mental hospital because of her misogynistic ways and her hatred of the Bean Scouts. We moved Camp Squirrel Bean to Gotham Royal York. It was much better for them. Nico also caught a manectric and a plus. The end. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Another fanfiction complete. Camp Laszlo is one of my favorite cartoons. I absolutely despised Lumpus. He was a total jerk and he deserved to be put away. A lot of people say that the ending of Camp Laszlo was really bad, but I thought it was a great and justifiable ending. Heifer Wolf made a surprise appearance in the show and Joe Murray is the creator of Camp Laszlo and Rocco's Modern Life. But nonetheless it was an awesome show that went from July 8, 2005 to March 27, 2008. Thank you Joe for giving us a great show like Camp Laszlo. The episodes of Ed and Eddie featured in this chapter are for the infamous episode If It Smells Like an Ed and the funny episode Ed Exaggerate. Nico-chan 11 gave me the ideas for this one. Thanks man as usual. Let me know what you all think. See you all next time. Camp Laszlo is owned by Joe Murray and Cartoon Network.